Hey guys, welcome to another video and thank you all for your support and over 60,000 supporters on my channel. Today I will be showing you the process of making a watercolored portrait commission of a character from an anime Katekyo Hitman Reborn. This is a commission I made for Ari Aki from DeviantArt, who commissioned me to draw her favorite character from Katekyo Hitman Reborn anime called Mukuro Rokudo. This character isn't really familiar, well, I'm not familiar with this character because I watched this show for only a brief amount of time before I got too busy to watch the entire thing, but I really did like the styling of the show, and I really liked the challenge I got to draw a character with such an interesting details like special earrings and a nice coat, so I decided to play around with it. And I really like his haircut because it kind of reminds me of Chicken Tail. I won't say Chicken Heine, but there, I said the Chicken Heine. So this time I started drawing the same way as I always do. I used my 0.1 fine liner to bring out all the tiny threads of hair, locks of hair, and just intertwine them a bit, but don't go into too many details because when you draw manga, you tend to get the details out, well, specific details you can draw out with color more than with line art. That's why I made the line art pretty simple. And yes, this is one of my longer and a bit slower videos for me to explain some things you guys always tell me I rush through, so I'm listening to your suggestions and I will be trying to improve the way of explaining things as you see them on your screens. As for the line arts, I have used the same thickness for every line, 0.1 fine liner. I recommend the Mitsubishi brand for this, but if you don't have them, just try to get as quality fine liner as you can so that your results are better. When making line arts, you definitely need to check out few tricks like these little black triangles and areas of the face that are completely black. And don't worry, the black areas actually improve your line arts so that everything pops out and looks more vivid. Because when you play with the black areas, some are smaller and some are bigger. For example, I used a big black CD marker, no Copics, nothing special, nothing expensive, just a CD black marker to make a huge black area for the shaded place under his coat, which is obviously moved by the wind. This black area compensates the thin lines and the white surfaces on the drawing, and never be afraid to place some big black areas on your line arts, especially when using black CD markers which are not water dilutable. Be careful, some of them are, so you need to test them if the watercolors will smudge them. Try to avoid those kinds of markers. Markers are usually cheap, but avoid the ones that can be smudged with water. Also, when you have metallic parts like this guy's earrings, it's always recommended to place some geometrical black shapes which don't touch the sides of the object so that you can have the effect of metal shining through, well, shiny metal texture, I guess. When I erased my pencil, I proceeded to add some additional details. For example, if you have ropes or thin hairs on your character, you can do them with the fine liner. And don't be afraid to place parallel lines as different kinds of textures on the clothing. For example, if you look directly in the rope details, you can see the little parallel lines. And when you work with watercolors, always make sure that you are using a separate piece of paper to blend and dirty up your colors, because pure colors like pure yellow or pure red are really not recommended for any kind of manga art. You always need to make the colors a bit more dirty, so use a lot of different colors on a separate piece of paper to get a lot of different shapes. I will use this opportunity to sarcastically thank my commissioner for asking for a character with purple hair, because most watercolor sets don't offer purple, so I needed to freshly make purple color for his hair, and I needed to really put some effort and time into getting the shades of the purple just right. I concentrated on making an entire surface of the hair with the same amount of one shade of purple, and then I proceeded shading with a little darker shade on the back of his head where his chicken booty is. Also, one little trick, you can place the darker purple, darker color of, darker shade of each color on the tips of the bangs, or like tips of the hair generally, to make the hair pop up, to make the hair look more realistic. Hair is something that's really complicated to shade when doing such a detailed job, so try to practice on a little bit less complicated hairdos for anime characters. This hairdo is actually quite complicated, and I was personally struggling to finish it just as it is, especially with making my own shades of purple. And don't be afraid, the more shades you use while doing watercolors, the better the final result will be, because the more shades you use, the more successful the area will look. It will look like you had like 100 Copics and blended them for days. And that's the thing I love about watercolors, because you can blend them all you like and make so many different and beautiful shades by mixing warm colors with cold colors, and you can always get fresh blended colors whenever you need them without buying special markers for getting those colors. I definitely had the most trouble trying to finish the purple hair. I hope you guys don't mind. It took me around almost 2 hours to finish this piece because of the complicated state of the hair, but it was also very fun. As for the skin color, I used the mix of brown and ochre, beige color, and I diluted it quite a bit so that I can start with a really fair and really light shade of skin. Then when that dried a bit, I proceeded putting the darker shade of skin color to the darker areas beneath the hair, in the indentation above the eyes, on the tip of the nose, inside the ears, etc. So wherever you think there's a really shaded part, that's where you need to place areas with the darker shade of that color. Always try to use at least 2 or 3 different shades for each color. So for color of the hair, color of the clothes, color of the skin. And you can notice that I did a little smudging on the nose. Always keep a tissue handy, because you never know if you're going to make a mistake, place too much water on your brush, etc. So you will always need a little help of your friendly neighborhood paper towel to dab up the places you think have too much color or too much water in them, and prevent some potential mistakes. But don't worry, if you already made a mistake, there's always help in white gel pen I use, or just white color you can use to cover up mistakes. This particular watercolor set didn't offer me black colors, so I improvised and I used black ink, which I mixed with water, and I even blended it. If you are crazy enough, you can try it too, but if you're a beginner, I recommend just trying it out on a separate paper first, because if you're crazy like me, you will just start blending and diluting the black color into gray color directly on the drawing, as you can see on my color for this guy. I just used pure black, then just diluted it as my brush was going up the color. Sorry about my pronunciations. I know some people really are bothered by it, but I'm trying to make my English better. And I diluted the black ink more as I was proceeding on the rest of the jacket. One important thing is the kind of paper you are using for watercolors. This paper needs to be durable and thick, at least 200 grams per square meter, because the water will start making the paper wobbly, and if you try to press a bit with your paintbrush, you can even accidentally make a hole in your paper, and you do not want that to happen. So try to draw watercolors on paper that is thicker, more rugged, and can withstand a lot of water in it. As for the final touches, I really love when a character has differently colored eyes. This character in particular has his left eye blue and his right eye red. So I tried my best even to give this eye special glow by using more shades. You can see the shades I used on the right of your screen on the test paper, and I tried to mix several shades of blue for his other eye as well. And then I made a huge blotch of colors, of dirtied up colors, and I just spattered it all over his background so that I can mix it all together for some kind of improvised texturized background. When this background dries, it's perfect for making white dots I usually do on all my drawings, because manga illustrations often use those dots to make everything more flowy and more interesting to look at. And don't be afraid to experiment while doing watercolors, because they're really fun. Because they're drying really slowly, you can use your speed to make different textures and effects. You can even try a little trick and dab some salt on the wet part of the watercolor work, and you can get special effects like little stars. Maybe if you like, I can even try out painting with wine or coffee and trying this salt and mixing it up with manga style. So if you like something like that, please let me know in the comments. As well as any other challenge or type of drawing you would like me to test out for you, or even show you how it's done. So I'm always up for new challenges. Give me tasks, just try to make me smile or giggle, or maybe even lose my nerves over some types of different techniques. And we got the final piece of the drawing done by dabbing little white dots with the white gel pen. And I really hope you like that, because the gel pen I'm using is fantastic. It's Japanese brand, but you can always dab some white paint on the tip of your paintbrush and do exactly the same results. If you like what you saw and you wish to draw something like this, you can always go to the description section and see where you can get my official manga drawing book, Manga Crash course. It's available on Amazon, as well as Barnes & Noble's bookstores and Northern Lion bookstores, as well as a lot of different bookstores in America, Europe, and across the globe. So just go to your local bookstore and ask for Manga Crash course. I hope you liked today's video and leave a comment for anything you'd like me to try next. See you next time!